How self-availability dissolves emotional addiction. Why choosing yourself ends obsession, trauma bonds, and attachment loops. Emotional addiction doesn't come from loving too much. It comes from not being emotionally available to yourself. Many people believe they're addicted to a person, but what they're actually addicted to is the relief, the regulation, the temporary sense of safety that the person provides. When someone else becomes your primary source of emotional soothing, meaning, or self-worth, attachment turns into addiction. Self-availability is the antidote. Not detachment, not avoidance, not shutting down your heart, but becoming the one who can meet yourself emotionally, consistently, safely, and honestly. This video is about how that single shift dissolves emotional addiction at its root. What emotional addiction really is. Emotional addiction is a nervous system dependency, not a character flaw. It happens when your sense of calm depends on someone else. Your mood depends on their attention. Your worth depends on their choice. You're not craving the person. You're craving regulation. The addiction is strongest when love is mixed with unpredictability, inconsistency, emotional distance. This creates intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism that drives gambling addiction. Your nervous system learns, sometimes I get closeness, sometimes I lose it. So I stay hyper-focused. This isn't romance, it's survival conditioning. Why self-availability matters more than detachment. Most people try to break emotional addiction by cutting contact, but detachment without self-availability creates emptiness, not healing. If you remove the external regulator without becoming your own internal regulator, the addiction just transfers to another person, to fantasy, to rumination, to longing. Self-availability means I am here with myself when emotions arise. I don't outsource my safety. I don't abandon myself in distress. Addiction dissolves when your nervous system learns, I am not alone with this feeling. How emotional addiction forms in childhood. Most emotional addiction patterns began long before adulthood. They formed in environments where emotional needs were inconsistently met, love was conditional, caregivers were unpredictable, absent, or overwhelmed. As a child, you learned, connection is uncertain. I must stay alert. I must adapt to receive love. So your nervous system bonded to hope, not stability. In adulthood, emotionally unavailable partners feel familiar. Not because they're healthy, but because your body recognizes the pattern. Self-availability rewires what familiarity means. Why you mistake intensity for love. Intensity feels like love when calm was never safe. High emotional charge activates dopamine, heightens focus, creates obsession, but intensity is not intimacy, it's nervous system activation. Healthy love feels steady, predictable, emotionally spacious. To an unhealed nervous system that can feel boring or unsafe, self-availability teaches your body. Calm is connection. Safety doesn't mean abandonment. What self-availability actually is. Self-availability is not self-reliance, it's self-presence. It means you stay with your emotions instead of escaping them. You respond to yourself instead of overriding yourself. You soothe before seeking. Self-availability sounds like, I feel lonely, and I can sit with that. I feel rejected, and I won't abandon myself. I feel anxious, and I can regulate. This is how dependency dissolves. How self-availability breaks the addiction loop. Emotional addiction follows a cycle. Trigger, longing, fixation, contact, temporary relief, crash. Self-availability interrupts the cycle at the trigger stage. Instead of reaching outward, you turn inward. You ask, what am I feeling right now? What do I actually need? Can I meet part of this myself? Each time you do this, you weaken the addiction pathway. Your nervous system learns a new association: emotion, safety, regulation. This is rewiring. Why self-availability feels uncomfortable at first. Self-availability initially feels unfamiliar because no one modeled it. Your system learned to seek externally. Solitude once meant emotional abandonment. So when you stop chasing, your body panics. This is not regression. This is withdrawal. And withdrawal is temporary. Every time you stay with yourself instead of escaping, you build internal safety. How self-availability changes who you're attracted to. When you're self-available, unavailable people feel draining. Inconsistency feels loud. Emotional distance feels unattractive. Why? Because your nervous system no longer needs external regulation. You stop confusing longing with love. You stop chasing emotional highs. You start choosing emotional safety. Attraction reorganizes around stability. Self-availability versus avoidance. This is critical. Avoidance says, I don't need anyone. Self-availability says, I can be with myself and still desire connection. Avoidance numbs. Self-availability feels. Avoidance disconnects. Self-availability anchors. One is a defense, the other is healing. Practices that build self-availability. Nervous system regulation before decision-making. Naming emotions without judgment. Responding instead of reacting. Daily self-check-ins. Choosing self-soothing before external soothing. These practices train your body to trust you. What love looks like after addiction dissolves. Love becomes calmer, mutual, grounded. You no longer feel consumed. You feel supported. You don't lose yourself. You expand. You don't chase. You choose. Emotional addiction ends when self-abandonment ends. Not because you stopped loving, but because you stopped disappearing inside love. Self-availability is not independence. It's inner security. And when you become emotionally available to yourself, you no longer need someone else to save you from your feelings. You can meet love without losing yourself. And that is freedom.